So today we will discuss about the biological techniques in the field of medicine. So as we know, the biotechnology is a technique of living organisms to produce certain products which are useful for the mankind. Okay, the starting from making a curd, bread, wine, even in vitro fertilization, and the creating a vaccine or treating a disease with the genetic manipulation, that all comes in the biotechnology. In all these fields, even medicine, agriculture, veterinary, biotechnology plays a major roles. Okay, if you see the biotechnology, it has mainly two techniques. One is a recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering, and another one is a bioprocess technology. So genetic engineering includes creating a recombinant DNA by the gene cloning and the gene transfer. So before we understand what is a recombinant DNA technology, let us see the natural phenomena which is happen all over the living cells. So then we will come to know how the recombinant technology or genetic engineering can be created for the benefit of the humankind. Okay, let us look into that. So as we know, the human cells of nuclei contains 23 pairs of chromosome, and each chromosome has a very long strands of DNA, and this DNA has a genetic material which we call as a genome, and these genes are responsible for our phenotypes, characters, traits, whatever we call. For example, the color of the hair or color of the skin or the way we walk or the way we pronounce, and everything determined by these genes. Okay, these genes are the instructors of a particular phenotypes or traits or characters, and which are ultimately as a proteins. So formation of certain proteins, for example, see the color of my eye, which is determined by particular protein, and color of my hair also determined by particular protein that was instructed by a particular genes. Okay, so from the genes and the formation of protein, we call it as protein synthesis, and this is a common phenomena which is happens in all the living cells. Okay, so from the gene instruction to the protein, we call it as gene expression. So with the gene expression, the protein synthesis happens. With the protein synthesis, we exhibit different proteins that are responsible for the various characteristics or various traits. Okay. Now let us see the protein synthesis process. Protein synthesis. So the DNA, the part of a DNA, call it as a gene. When gene switched on, okay, when gene is switched on by the RNA polymerase, it produces a single-stranded hnRNA. See, hnRNA has both coding and non-coding genes. So both coding and non-coding genes, coding genes and non-coding genes, and these coding genes we call it as exons, and non-coding genes we call it as introns. So the hnRNA contains both the coding genes and non-coding genes, which is derived from the gene by the polymerase, RNA polymerase, with an endonucleases. The cleavage was happens, cleavage or splicing happens. So what happens? The coding genes, that is exons, and the non-coding genes introns, they get separates. The hnRNA splices into pieces into coding genes and non-coding genes. When there is a ligase enzyme, so all the coding genes unite to form exon. All the coding genes so excite to integrates to form a mRNA. This is a messenger RNA with a cap at 5 prime end and the cap at third prime end. So this is called mRNA. mRNA is also called as a template for protein synthesis. So this process happens in the nucleus. Once mRNA forms, it comes out from the nucleus and enters into the cytoplasm. With the help of ribosomes, these mRNA forms amino acids chain. When the termination happens, these amino acids forms a protein. So formation of a protein from mRNA, we call it as translation. And formation of mRNA from the gene, we call it as transcription. This entire process is called transcription. Transcription. The whole process we call it as protein synthesis. A protein synthesis are the two steps. The formation of mRNA from the gene, we call it as transcription. From mRNA to the protein, we call it as transition. The whole process is called as protein synthesis. And this is a general phenomena which happens in all the living cells. Now, so we have studied what is the protein synthesis process. This is the way the genes code certain signals, certain instructions. With that instructions, we exhibit certain proteins, and which is a phenotypes which we can see as a phenotypes. Okay. Now, what we do as per our wish, as per the human requirement, we make certain changes in the genome. We make certain manipulations in the genome to get a acquired result, whatever we want the results. So we make certain changes in the genetic level to get certain proteins that are useful for the human welfare. Now, let us see one of the important aspect in the medicine that we go through every day. So as we know, the diabetes is very prevalent in the across the world. So in the diabetes, what happens generally? So generally the beta cells of islands of Langerhans, Langerhans in pancreas. So these beta cells produce insulin, and this insulin is responsible for the glycogenesis and the lipogenesis and even for protein synthesis. So this is very important for the metabolic process of the glycogen and lipids, even for the protein. So if there is an obstruction in the beta cells, or the beta cells are not functional due to certain reasons like genetic hereditary, or the sedentary life, or overuse of medication, or due to the pregnancy, these beta cells will not produce insulin. When there is a inadequate insulin, and this process will definitely affects. Okay, now the patient starts showing so many diabetic symptoms. So to correct that or to maintain that, so we need to have a artificial insulin. We need to have an artificial insulin. And this insulin, what happens? We can't take insulin as a oral therapeutic because the insulin is a protein product. Now these protein products are digested in our digestive system. So we need to have a insulin that has to enter through the insulin pump. So most of the insulins we have an injectables, and these insulins are proteins, and that should be similar to the biological ones. So that is the reason we invented the biotechnological insulin. So before understanding the how we invented, so let us see the structure of the insulin. So in mammals, insulin is available as proinsulin, inactive form of insulin. So beta cells produce inactive form of insulin, which we call as the proinsulin. It has three polypeptide chains. So one is A-type polypeptide, and another one is B-type polypeptide. Okay, this is B-type. Okay, so there is another type of polypeptide, that is C-type, which is binds both the A-type and B-type. And very important, A-type polypeptide has 21 amino acids, whereas B-type has 30 amino acids. Okay, if we see the structure in the linear mode, this is A type, and the longer one, that is C type, and followed by the B type. It looks like linear structure. This is C type, this is B type, this is A type. So the C type polypeptide holds the A type and B type polypeptides together to form a bond, disulfide bond, disulfide bond. So once this disulfide bonds appears and this C type polypeptide disappears, then the structure is called active form of insulin. Okay. So the active form of insulin have A type and B type with a peptide bond, disulfide bonds. This is B type polypeptide, same 30 amino acids, and this is A type, and these are linked with the disulfide bonds. This is the active form of insulin. So what happens when there is a patient with diabetes and this insulin is not produced properly, and so scientists what they have done, they have isolated these genes for A type polypeptide and B type polypeptide. They have taken both A type and B type polypeptides genes, genes for gene for A type polypeptide and gene for B type polypeptide. Okay. Now what they have done, and they have introduced in a plasmid these genes. Okay, these genes they have introduced with a plasmid. Same like here also. These genes they introduce in a plasmid. So when we introduce it with a plasmid, some portion of the plasmids will remove and this part of the GNA will go and join with the plasmid. This is called the recombination process. Okay. Now here also the B type gene is combined with the plasmid. Now this gene is introduced into E. coli bacteria. E. coli. Same here also. The B type gene in a plasmid introduced in a E. coli bacteria. Now this E. coli having a plasmid with the B type gene, and here also E. coli bacteria with A type gene, and they start replicating. Okay, erase this, and they start replicating and they produce the multiple copies of the genes for A type and B type. Now, for example, gene A, they have taken when they have transcripted we got an mRNA because see likewise we have seen that entire protein synthesis that was in the eukaryotic cells. In the eukaryotic cells having many nucleases. Whereas the E. coli doesn't have that much of uh, nucleases. They simply undergo the transcription, forms an mRNA, and the scientists what they have done, this mRNA they induced reverse transcriptase. So with the help of reverse transcriptase, the RNA synthesized DNA. DNA of particular gene A, same like gene B. mRNA. Then it also has a DNA. Now this DNA will produce A type polypeptide, and this DNA produce B-type polypeptide. So what they have done, so they brought together A-type and B-type polypeptides under favorable condition. They also found a disulfide bonds between them. This is biotechnologically synthesized insulin. This is as similar to the natural insulin, natural active insulin. And this is the first time introduced by a company called the first time this synthetic or biosynthetic insulin was introduced by a company called Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly, an American company. They introduced in the year of 1983, July 5th. That date is also a very important in the NEET point of view. So, with the name of Humulin. Humulin. Humulin is a biotechnologically synthesized insulin and which is take care of the diabetes. So there are many biotechnological products are available. The most of them are therapeutic. So therapeutic means which treats the diseases, and some of the palliative. Palliative means they don't treat diseases completely, but they take care of the symptoms. No? They maintain the diseases and they don't allow the progress the disease, but they maintain certain disease. For example, if you see arthritis, there is no cure with the medication. So only we need to take some biosimilars to control the pain. It not at all treat permanently. So that we call it as a palliative. So most of them, almost there are 30 therapeutic products are available with the biotechnological application. There are 150 palliative products are available in the world. And the Banting, scientist Banting and Best, these are the two scientists. So these are the scientists. First, they isolated insulin from dog pancreas. From dog pancreas. Very important in the NEET point of view. And Frederick Sanger is also he has given the sequence of amino acid sequence of insulin. So, and one more thing with the American company Eli Lilly, with the collaboration of Indian company Ranbaxy. Now Ranbaxy is acquired by the Sun Pharma. So that time the Eli Lilly with the Ranbaxy, they introduced analog of human natural insulin called as Homolog. The Homolog is a product which is analog to the human insulin, and the Homolog is having a very short active time, but it lasts for certain hours only. Whereas the Humulin, it acts very slowly, but it lasts for bigger time. So that is the difference. So patients who need immediate relief of the diabetic symptoms, they will go for this particular homolog that is very analog to the natural human insulin. So this is all about the genetic engineering insulin. So tomorrow we'll discuss regarding the vaccines and other gene therapies.